Good morning. It's currently 7 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. Same day that I'm recording this is the same day that it's gonna come out. Yesterday I had like a wake up call, right? Like a reality check, if you will. And I was doing some homework last night and I was just like thinking about recording this episode. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna do my work. I'm gonna sleep on it. And if I still feel this way in the morning, I'm gonna record it. I had something completely different for y'all to post today, but that'll get posted on Saturday. I don't think I'm gonna edit this video. I kind of want to be real, raw, and honest. And yeah. So I've been listening to a couple of podcasts. I've been listening to a couple of motivational videos, and a lot of them are coming down to discipline. Right? I've always been one that had discipline but always lacked the motivation. I'm sorry, reverse that. I had the motivation but I lacked the discipline. So like going to the gym, right? I'd be like, I'm just gonna go another day. Why? Or like I show y'all the happy times on here. Like I'll show y'all the good aspects, right? And someone had asked for a day in my life, and I was like, if I record it, it's gonna be real, raw, and uncut. I'll probably edit some things, but not everything. And I'm saying all of this because I was listening to this podcast. This gentleman named Leo has a podcast called Aware and Aggravated, right? And he was like, I forget the saying. It was like, something is not an excuse to be ugly. And I don't know, the whole quote didn't stick with me, but like part of it did, and I just reposted it yesterday. But again, I'm saying all this to say, if you want something, you have to do it. And I know that's like sounds so easy, like that's all you had to say. Yeah, like if you want to, like, just because you don't feel like it doesn't mean you shouldn't do it, right? Like if you're looking for a goal to get to, right? So say for example you want to lose weight, and you're like, I want to go to the gym 4 times a week. You kind of almost have to set your feelings aside, because you're not always going to have the motivation to go to the gym. But you have to have the discipline to sit down and be like, I set a goal for myself. Like, granted, one day is going to kill you, right? But you have to uphold a standard. Someone once said that if you tell yourself that you're going to do something and you decide to not do it, you lack respect for yourself, right? Like, what you're saying doesn't hold any weight to your own self. Because if you sit here and like you go to a job or something, and this is the example that they use in their podcast, and your manager tells you to take the trash out, you're going to take the trash out. You want to know why? Because that's your manager, and you're going to listen, right? If your parents tell you to wash the dishes, you're going to wash the dishes because you respect them, right? It comes with a level of respect. If you don't respect yourself, you're never going to do what you want to do and what you need to do. You're going to continuously put it off because you don't respect yourself. And some people may or may not agree with this, but like I do agree, because I've been in that position where I'm just like, I'll do it later, and then it never gets done, or I'm procrastinating. When you sit down and you take the time to actually do something, it honestly doesn't feel that bad, right? And someone had mentioned the 2-second rule. If you sit down and you do something, not 2 seconds, 2 minutes. If you sit down and you do something for 2 minutes, you'll probably continue doing what you're doing. You wanna know why? Because it tricks your brain. It's hard to stop something after 2 minutes. Like if you're taking notes for a class and you set a timer for 2 minutes, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna hit the alarm and keep going. Because who's about to take notes for 2 minutes and then just stop? It doesn't make sense, right? Right. Tricks your brain into thinking that you should continue to do it because you're already doing it. The hard part is starting. Once you start, you're not going to want to stop, because it doesn't make sense to stop, right? If you're going to the gym, people always say the hardest part is getting there. No, the hardest part is like doing your workout. If you're someone who consistently goes to the gym or semi-consistently goes to the gym, and you get to the gym and you're like in your car and you want to cry and and you get into the gym and your workout is shit, guess what? You still showed up, but you need to work harder. And as I'm listening to this, like the psychology mind in me was just like, this sounds so toxic. Like you're just hustling all the time. Like you're never giving your body a rest. But it's like, we have become so like sensitized. Gonna start that over. We have become so sensitized to a lot of things. Like we feel like everybody deserves a participation award and all this other stuff. And it's like just for showing up, I guess. No. It comes down to a point where, like, after a while, people are gonna stop feeling bad for you. Like, people are gonna, like, not condone what you're saying and or your behavior. Like, if you're gonna sit here and say, like, oh my god, I'm so ugly, but you're not taking care of yourself, people are gonna stop feeling bad for you. Like, after a while, if you say, like, oh my gosh, I'm failing so many classes, but you're not doing the work and you clearly could be, people are gonna stop feeling bad for you. Like, it gets to a point where it's like you're complaining, you're doing more detriment to yourself than good. That complaining could be used to you doing the work. Do the work. Just do the work. It's not, like, I won't sit here and say it's not hard, because it is. But if you apply yourself, you find out that you're better for it. Now, if you want to sit back and make excuses, and okay, cool, you're going to continue making excuses. You're going to do that in every aspect of your life. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, like, ignore your body. Like, sometimes you have to push past that. Like, I was up yesterday at 8 a.m., right? I was up yesterday at 8 a.m. I cooked, I cleaned, cleaned up after myself, like my dishes and everything. And I made breakfast and all that other stuff. And then I left. I went to class. I only had one class yesterday. And it was from 10:20 to 11:10. Now, I usually have work at about 1 o'clock. Instead of going home or staying on campus, I was like, I'm just going to go to work, do some of my homework, and then clock in so that I know I'm not late and that I know that I really don't have an excuse to not do this and, like, do this stuff. So I did it. Yesterday, I didn't get off of work until 8 o'clock. We usually are out of there before 7:30. And I was going to go to a building on campus to study. I was like, that's not happening anymore. But guess what? I still came home and I studied for about 4 hours. Maybe not studied, but I did assignments that were due for the remainder of the week because I procrastinated, right? And after a while, it's just like, I can sit here and continue to make excuses for myself, but it's like, at the end of the day, like, are you going to do it? Are you going to put your money where your mouth is? Are you going to do it? Or are you going to complain and then not do it and then be mad about your grade in the class? I found out I have a D in one of my classes, right? Granted, there's only 1 grade, 2 grades. Yeah. With that being said, I sent him an email that actually should have went out at 7:30 this morning, and I asked him if there was any tutoring opportunities because I don't want to fail his class, right? Everything else is kind of like wiggle room, like I can get to the grade that I want to get to, but this class in particular is like psychology and science based, and science has never been like biology, and it's never been my strong suit, and that's fine. But I have to start doing things that's going to make my grade better, because I can sit here and complain that the class is hard, but if I'm not doing anything to fix my grade, it's never going to go anywhere. I can implement all the study habits I want, but if I'm not understanding the material, it's not going to work. You have to want better for yourself. You have to surround yourself with people who want better for you, because in turn, it's going to reflect onto you. You cannot sit here and want to be around winners and you're complaining. You know, my aunt always told me when I was younger, she was like, complaining is so unladylike, and I never understood that. And like, granted, like, it's not a gender thing, it's just a person thing. Like, no one wants to hear you complain all the fucking time. Let's be real. And I was listening to Leo's podcast. I listened to Hindsight, and he's more of like he's very chill with what he says. And then I was listening to David Goggins. And if anybody knows him, like, that man has been through hell and back. And he came out better for it. I was listening to his stuff yesterday, and that's why I got 4 hours worth of work done. That's why I feel prepared for one of my exams. Because I stayed up and I did the work. Like, yeah, I'm tired. I have a class at 8 a.m. and it's 7 o'clock. But guess what? You have to do it. You have to do it. I promise you, you have to do it, and I promise you will come out better for it. And it's just that simple. You don't have to get ready if you stay ready. That's an army thing, but it coincides with the regular world. If you're constantly trying to get ready for something, you're always going to be late. you're always going to be late, or you're not going to get it done. You have to stay ready so that you don't have to get ready. You know, David Goggins was like, I run 70 miles every day. He said nothing under 12. Nothing under 12. And someone had asked him to run, I think it was like 22 miles, and he was like, the run sucked. I hated running. I still hate running. But guess what? I've ran enough that wasn't gonna suck. Just let that marinate, let that sink in, if you will. It doesn't suck. So, you know, and I'm saying this out loud for the people that I want. Like, I want this to reach one other person. Like, I don't care who watches it, but I want this to like resonate with like one other person. If I can do that, then it can be passed on to somebody else. I want it to resonate with 5 people. I want it to resonate with everyone who watches this video, but not everyone is in that mindset. So I'm glad that I slept on it, and I'm like, yeah. Like, I was on the phone with my boyfriend last night, and I said, if I still feel this way in the morning, I'm gonna record it, and I'm going to post it the same day. And I did. And I still feel the same way. So for anybody out there that is struggling, I need you to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and get it done. After a while, the real world stops treating you like you need to be held. Like you don't need your hand held anymore. After a while, like, the real world is going to keep going. It's not going to stop for nobody. So you either have to get with it or get left. And I'm sure a lot of y'all don't want to get left because it's hard to catch the fuck back up. And I mean that in every aspect of life. You take a month off the gym, you gotta make up for a month that you missed. You take a week off of work, if you work a corporate job, you're getting fired, or you have a whole bunch of paperwork that you have to catch up on now. If you're in school and you let assignments pile up, now you gotta catch up, and now your grade's probably in the gutter, and so is your GPA. Use this video as motivation. Listen to this when you feel like you don't want to do something. If you're in the gym and you're like, I don't want to work out, go work out. If you're at work and you're like, I don't want to be here, you need to be there. Or find a way to get out of that system that's going to make you some sort of income. You can complain all you want, but if you're not making the necessary change, then why are you complaining? Can't complain about where you are in life if you're not making or taking the steps to be better. Like, I don't want to be in my job forever. That's why I'm getting this degree. But I also don't want to work a corporate job for the rest of my life. So I have side hustles that I intend on making LLCs. You have to want it. No one is going to want it for you. You got to surround yourself with winners. When you see stuff like that, it subconsciously tricks your mind into thinking you're already there. So you're in the mindset of doing something that someone with $1 million as compared to $500 is already doing. When, like, if you follow different people on social media, it's a reflection of how you internally think, whether you know it or not. If you're following people who are constantly depressed and upset about their life, you are in turn adapting that mindset. If you follow people who are aware of their thoughts, who are aware of their emotions, who take the necessary steps to be a better person, take the steps to be a better individual, you're going to in turn adapt that mindset. And you in turn, I keep saying in turn, goodness gracious, you are then going to be better. You're going to find different ways to make more money. You're going to find different ways to be a better individual. You're going to find better ways to, I don't know, get up and go to the gym. You're going to find different gym routines that are, progressing your progress faster. Progressing your progress. Goodness gracious. I know I just woke up and I'm not an English major, so I need y'all to excuse any grammatical error. Did I just have a stroke? Goodness gracious. Any grammatical errors that I'm making. And like I said, I'm not going to edit this. Everybody wants this cookie cutter image on YouTube. Listen, Far from it. The amount of times I've said something and had to edit it out was ridiculous. So I'm not gonna edit this one. Real, raw, and uncut. I don't have much else to say. There's a lot more that I could say, but I'm not going to. But with that being said, don't take this with a grain of salt, because I know some of y'all will. But I need y'all to listen to what I'm saying to you. Listen to what I'm saying. Your body is going to be tired. Push past those limits. Thank you. And I will see y'all on Saturday.